This message is for everyone who is not yet ready to move into peace or joy or excitement. This is for you who are feeling dread, anxiety, fear, all those icky things. We're going to talk about it. Just because you haven't yet moved into peace doesn't mean you're not in the 4 a.m. club, doesn't mean you aren't in the new timeline. Let's talk about what it means when you're feeling this way. First of all, big shout out to me. I not only showered and got dressed, I have left the house. What? It's time to regain the living. Here we go. Okay, we're going to talk about all these icky feelings because I get a lot of comments from people concerned that because they're not feeling peace or joy that some of the others are feeling, that they're not going to make it, that they're not going to see the good stuff happen. And I'm here to tell you, no, that's not how this works, okay? This is a message of comfort, a message of hope, and it's a message of education. I am so sleep deprived. I'm going to be tripping over my words this whole time. Just sit tight. Okay, the first thing you need to know is that messy feelings are normal. We don't judge our feelings. We don't only want the good ones. We don't gaslight and spiritually bypass ourselves. We feel all our feelings. We have to honor them, honor ourselves, hold space for ourselves, allow us to feel everything so that it can fully process. Because when we don't do that, they get trapped. And our trapped emotions create all kinds of problems, not just physically, but emotionally. We get stuck in loops. And speaking of loops, that's one thing we're not going to do. We are not going to get stuck in the thought loops. There's a difference between feeling your feelings and panicking, intellectualizing, creating narratives, creating fears that don't exist. This is an emotional and a physical experience. We're going to feel them, and it's okay to do that. In fact, it's really important that you do that because along the process of awakening and of anchoring new timelines and moving into the future, we have a lot of transmutation to do. For you noobs, that means taking the old and the painful and the gross and the uncomfortable and cleansing it, healing it, turning it into the light. We can't just sweep our feelings away. We have to actually transmute it. It's like trees turning carbon dioxide into oxygen. That is a necessary process. That's necessary for a bunch of reasons, but first and foremost, the reason you're feeling the way you feel is because gestures broadly at everything. You know, we have been through a lot. We've been through a lot, both personally in our individual lives and collectively. This is a hard life. And I say that even for you people who, like me, I've judged myself for a long time for having the big intensity and the periods in my life where I couldn't find joy and move on. And I've looked at my life saying, I mean, it hasn't been bad. So many people have it so much worse than me. Why do I feel so terrible? Why can I not cope with life? Because this is an intense lifetime. Even if you haven't been given those really big challenges, even if you haven't had big T, capital T traumas, this is a traumatic life for all of us through the shifts and the changes we're going through. This is also a life that most of us incarnated with a lot of karma. And before you get attached to that word karma, I don't mean you're here to be punished and work out the shit you couldn't do before. It's not about that. It's about unfinished business. Things that you weren't able to heal in past lives. We bring it all as baggage to heal it. And not only that, we bring our ancestral emotions, energies, traumas, pains. We have brought all of that into this life to heal. Because before I moved into my work as a channel that I do now, as a medium and as a healer, that's a large part of the work I was doing. I was helping individuals heal ancestral wounds. So this has been a big work that's been happening on this earth for many, many years. But it's this lifetime, our lifetimes. So if you're feeling some kind of way today, welcome to the club. You have come to it honestly. So I don't want you to bypass your emotions. If you're feeling something, feel it and honor it and love that and take care of you, and it will pass. If you want to learn more about that, about emotional transmutation, about being an empath, there's an audio course on my website. You can get it at the link in bio. It's called Emotional Mastery. Okay, now there is something else I want to talk about, and that's about not getting swept up in the fear of everybody else around you. Because although it's important to feel your own stuff, you should not be feeling other people's stuff. Again, you empaths, go check out that course. You should not be feeling everything. And even for those of you who don't identify as an empath, it's an intense time. People are losing their damn minds, and it's not your responsibility to walk that road with them. The ones who are close to you, the ones in your care, if you have the emotional bandwidth, then yes, help them, but we need to tune out the chaos of the world. It's not our burden to carry. Now, I know there's a big fear. People are saying it in my comments, and I've seen this in spiritual communities for a long time. There's a fear that if I'm in fear, if I'm feeling anxiety, if I'm in stress, that means I'm getting sucked to the other timeline. No, that's not how this works. Timelines are not like gravity. Although they do have a gravitational pull, it's a vibrational alignment. Your decision to ascend, to get to the higher timeline, to see things through, to move on to peace, healing, love, divine feminine, all the good juju, that's never a one and done decision. That's a product of not only how you've lived this life and what you want and what you're working to create, but about countless times that have come before you. You signed up for this. And just because you're feeling stressed out when you look around and it's fucking chaos out there, that doesn't mean you've blown it and you're going to tumble onto the lower timeline. It just means you're human and you're processing a lot of stuff. It's okay. It's temporary. Give yourself grace. Get offline, turn off the news, get all cozy, take care of you, and start feeling good. I did make a video a couple back about how to care for yourself in times of high stress, so go watch that for some tips. And because this video is already 6 minutes long, I will do a separate video when I will tell you about a time in my life where I did not make the cut. I did not make the jump into a higher timeline. And I will tell you everything about it because it was ugly and scary and terrifying and awful. But because I've been through that and lived to tell the tale, I can tell you how I navigated it. And I can tell you what I did to help me stay focused. And now that I'm saying it that way, you know, it might not even be that I didn't make the cutoff. That's how it felt at the time. But the long game over all this is that I felt the fear of things going south in a hurry. And so I adopted a rigorous set of activities to calm myself, to focus on the outcome I wanted, to cleanse my palate, my everything, what I was seeing, get rid of the things that triggered my fear and only focus on that which brings me hope. And years later, here I am. I have done it. Do y'all wonder why I'm giggling like a jackass in my videos? Why I'm like giddy? Because I've done the fucking work. I've done so much work. I've done so much work. Personally, for my own personal emotional transmutation, my own healing, my own working through my nervous system, my mental health struggles. I've done that work, but I've also done the work to transmute the greater collective, to be selective about what I'm anchoring into, to really tune into the higher vibrations and focus all my energy and participation on that only. So I'm not here giving you false hope. It's not that I can scientifically prove anything that I'm saying. It's that I have had, 12 years on an awakening journey. I'm a very, very old soul. I could tell you about my lifetimes after lifetimes of what I've done here. I'm a very old soul who's been in the game a minute. And I know people who've been on an awakening path much longer than I have. And so we know what works. We know what we're talking about. I'm offering you hope because I know how this works. And I also want to offer you whatever measure of hope and certainty I can give you as a psychic, as a channel, as a medium, as someone who reads and feels energies and has been anchoring the timeline. I can't tell you how it's all going to play out in detail and to the minute and what it's all going to do, but I can tell you the end result. I can tell you the end result is that we're going to someplace we've never been before, and it's fucking fantastic. It's amazing. It's sparkly. It's joyful. It's human evolution. It's the ascension in action. We are going someplace good. Doesn't mean we're not going to be drugged through the shit for a hot minute. Months? Maybe longer? I don't know. But I'm telling you, we've got this. So if you are not feeling well yet, that's okay. Do your steps, do your processes, take care of you, and then come borrow a little of my joy. I've got a lot of it. I'm very giddy with all this energy. We're moving to someplace new. I got you, 4 a.m. fam. Mwah. Oh, and one last quick thing. I have a landing page on my website. Go to my links. There's a landing page for the 4 a.m. Club. I've been doing my work as a medium forever. My work has been there for years, but this specific one will give you just email updates about what's happening now. So if you're interested in that, sign up. I'll see you there.